Hi, my name's Cameron Carlson with AnimeLocation.tv. I'm here with my good pal, Mr. Kevin Bolk. How you doing?
Hello, how are you, my friend?
I'm all right. So it's only been a little bit since you and I had the chance to talk. It was at OhioCon 2019. How have you been in the last couple months?
Mostly working on life stuff. Yeah, like just lots of family things. It's kind of put a bit of a kibosh on the creative end a little bit, but I'm keeping up with commissions and the freelance work, but you've got that on top of like all like house building and taking care of elderly relatives and things like that. So like it's a challenge. I definitely don't get much sleep recently. That'll hopefully change soon. Once the house project we're going on gets done, that'll like so, I don't know, a little too personal. Like all right, cool. All right, yeah. Cool.
So since we've had the chance to talk back in January, the movie Shazam, Avengers, Captain Marvel.
Say that one already? Oh, wait, different Captain Marvel. Sorry. All right.
Wait, what? Yeah, that's right. So a few more have come out since then. What has been one of your favorites? You had mentioned that you really truly wanted to check out Captain Marvel. Slash Shazam.
Yeah.
What was that like?
I really like Shazam. One of my big problems with the DC movies so far has been that they've just been dark and gritty and kind of blah. Wonder Woman was kind of a step in the right direction, and then Justice League took it right back. And Shazam was just perfect. I loved it. The bright colors, the good sense of humor. Everything was just top notch about it. I really enjoyed it. I actually kind of enjoyed it more than the Marvel offerings this year. I liked Endgame okay. I'll do anything to see more Thanos, but like. I'm one of those people who like meticulously like picks out plot holes. Like Endgame is a good movie to watch once for like the thrill ride, but then if you think about it too much, it just suddenly becomes. Yeah. Oddly enough, my two favorite movies that have come out since we last talked would have been Detective Pikachu, of course, for this crowd, and I really like Godzilla King of the Monsters like a lot.
We'll talk in a minute.
Good. Okay. Yeah.
Alrighty. So. Before we get to Godzilla, you're also really into going to flea markets and picking up some really cool, rare finds from nostalgia of the 80s and 70s into the 90s. So what's it like when you pick up those rare gems?
Really, like, there's definitely a wave of nostalgia, but I'm also like, it's my art and creative side really gets into it because the weird flea market culture kind of feeds itself into my work, especially with and it's really cool with things like vaporwave and stuff like that coming into popularity again. It's like, hey, this is already my aesthetic. This works out perfectly, and just I like the weird and interesting. I'm from I grew up in Baltimore, so weird and interesting. Yeah, exactly. Wearing my Old Bay shirt, so weird and interesting is kind of woven into my DNA. So like you go into like a flea market atmosphere, especially like the really really junky ones, and you just zero in on all the really just the weirdest stuff you can find. So that's totally how I roll.
So bringing back in that nostalgia and going in from the 1950s era of movies and talking about now the new Godzilla movie. How'd you like that, and what was your opinion on that?
Oh yeah, like I was saying, I absolutely loved it. There was just enough human element to like keep things going all right, but not enough, because my problem with the first one, the 2014 one, was that. Yeah, no, I like Shin Godzilla. It's a totally different kind of movie. I tell people like if you're into Godzilla for like, if you picked up like the Criterion edition of Godzilla and you want like the metaphor for nuclear destruction Godzilla, you want it like really heady and classy, then Shin Godzilla is more your. Okay. If you're into like the monsters pro wrestling like I am,
with the flying.
Flying kicks and like three-headed like lightning shoot face dragons and things like King of the Monsters is definitely. Okay. I like both, but I lean more towards like, again, I like the weird and the silly. And it definitely kind of oh man, I've always like King Ghidorah has always been my favorite kaiju. So to see him translated that way on screen, and when I saw it in crazy like IMAX.
Gigantic.
Oh yeah. So like practically life sized, and I was just like I was 5 years old, like, and there were just so many really just iconic shots in that movie. Even if you don't like the plot or you're not really just studying the cinematography. Yeah. And stuff like that is just it's so darn cool. It's really well made, and I really enjoy it.
Alrighty. Now I only remember it because I actually had to read a book about it was called Me and Godzilla, and it was a Japanese American that was born right after the internment camps in World War II, and how that affected him as a person going through his life. I read that book. It was really touching. So last time we talked, you had recently done some really cool Dragon Ball art as them all playing basketball. You know, I remember like Krillin's got his cool pose, and like all his clothes like hanging off and stuff, and then like there's a couple like with Piccolo being all like gangster, like all that. So how is it like to have fan response to that?
It's been really positive. Like, it depends on what part of the country I go into. Like, certain people respond to it better than others. I didn't realize there was such a big basketball contingent in Columbus. Because there were a lot of people like, I'm not really into Dragon Ball, but I love basketball. Can I get that? And I'm just like, sure. Like, you know, and I'm like, do you play? And I'm like, well, like, I play casually, but like, I don't tend to watch too much. I mean, like, if it gives you, like, I was like, what got me into it as a kid was the NBA Dream Team was the 92. Was it 92 or 96? Yeah. And
Michael,
all
the big hits.
I like Michael Jordan. Like, if I ever was able to like establish like a super team from like multiple universes, Michael Jordan would totally be on that team. But yeah, so yeah, like it was again, it's bringing back that kind of childhood nostalgia and mixing it with my current like, you know, anime. Yes, thank you. Well, no, but like again, like my Dragon Ball Super really reignited my love for Dragon Ball. I've been into it since, you know, I was a teenager. So, but the Super is so darn good. It's really good. I was surprised how good it was. So yeah, I just had to like, I had that itch to draw Dragon Ball, and then I had this idea a while back of mixing the, you know, mostly it's the dumbest thing because, you know, Dragon Balls are orange, basketballs are orange, and they're both balls. What a great idea. So like, yeah, like everyone, like all the people I hang out with in Baltimore all love both basketball and Dragon Ball. So I just kind of. And then, that went over really well.
Exploded.
Yeah, exactly.
Alrighty, so now are there any upcoming projects you want fans to know about at this time?
At the moment, we're still working on the stuff where I talked about last time. Again, I had life interfered, so I had about a good 6 months of just trying to catch up with that. Once I'm actually, I'll be moving at the end of the month. Once that's done, then we can go whole hog in the project. That includes the card game. That includes new comic series. Yeah. The YouTube thing I've been mostly. That's been just learning how to use the software. Yeah, it's totally a new world for me. Because last time I was working on any sort of video stuff, I was doing, it was like literally like a camcorder VHS in like the back room of a public library.
And like the basement of the
house. Yeah, and editing with just 2 VCRs. So I'm a little behind the time, but yeah, I'm learning Premiere and like how the new equipment works and all that, and it's definitely been eye-opening. It's a very, very different world from when I used to actually do that kind of video work. I used to do it all the time when I was younger, but you know, you have to focus. I focus more on the art, so the video thing kind of fell aside. So it's kind of cool to get back into it. Absolutely.
Alrighty, now is there any way we can keep up with you on the internet? And then a final message to the people out there that have been keeping up with you.
Yeah, kevinbolk.com and terrorbankstudios.com for the web comics and things like that. And I'm all over social media under my name, so you search it, you'll find me. And as for messages, I mean, always thank you guys so much for your love and support. I love you guys too. The main reason I do this is for all you guys, so I really appreciate the support. And I know a lot of you keep up with me, like what I've been doing in my life stuff, and you've all been very supportive and wonderful, and I love it very much. So thank you.
Again, Kevin, it's wonderful to see you, my friend. Thank you again. Thank you.
All right. See ya.